Happy birthday, Prince Philip. The Duke of Edinburgh would have celebrated his 100th birthday on June 10, 2021, but he sadly passed away on April 9, just months before the milestone. Philip's life was one of duty and devotion to the country and his family. Of royal birth himself, he was smuggled out of Greece and sent to boarding school in the UK. He served with distinction in the Royal Navy during the Second World War, and abandoned his Greek and Danish titles to marry the Queen in 1947. The Queen faces a difficult time this week as June 10 marks what would have been Prince Philip's 100th birthday. The royal couple were happily married for 73 years, and his sad passing in April has changed the royal family as we know it. It was at the funeral that the Queen also said her final goodbye to her beloved husband, and a note from her was placed upon his coffin. The exact contents of Her Majesty's private message have never been confirmed by the monarch or the palace. According to Town and Country, she reportedly signed off the note with the name Lilibet. It's especially meaningful given the recent arrival of another Lilibet to the royal family. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have recently welcomed their first daughter, named Lilibet, Lily, Diana Mountbatten Windsor. The anniversary of Prince Philip's birthday comes in the same week that the Queen welcomed her 11th great-grandchild. The newborn is named after the monarch, whose family nickname is Lilibet. The meaning behind Lilibet is especially touching, as it's a name the Queen has been associated with since childhood. It's been said that the name arose when the Queen was too young to be able to pronounce her first name, Elizabeth, and called herself Lilibet instead. This was then adopted by her loved ones, though it was thought that she would never be called this nickname again following Prince Philip's death. The Duke of Edinburgh was reportedly the last person who still called his wife Lilibet. Now, with the birth of Lilibet Diana, the adorable name lives on and making the tribute all the more poignant. Though Prince Philip sadly never got to meet his new great-granddaughter, the fact that her name could have reportedly been included in the Queen's note to him creates a lovely connection between them. The Queen was likely very touched by Prince Harry and Meghan's name choice for baby Lilibet. Today, Prince Charles and Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, paid tribute to Prince Philip by sharing a message on their social media accounts that featured two throwback photos of the late royal. It read, "Remembering the Duke of Edinburgh, on what would have been his 100th birthday." The first image showed Philip at Windsor Castle, when he transferred his role of Colonel-in-Chief of the Rifles to Camilla in July 2020, while the other was taken during Charles's childhood. Speaking in a heartfelt video message, the 72-year-old prince was candid about his own grief as he shared his sorrow for those who had lost loved ones during the COVID crisis. "This year so many families, like my own, will have an empty seat at their dinner table, and friends will no longer be able to share the celebratory hug after Eid prayers," Charles said. He added, "I can only say how deeply saddened I am by this tragic situation and how my heart goes out to all those who have lost their loved ones." Following his death, Prince Charles automatically inherited Philip's title of Duke of Edinburgh. However, as it was announced upon the nuptials of the Earl and Countess of Wessex, this title will be passed on to Prince Edward, who has been working closely with his father on the Duke of Edinburgh Award for years, when the Prince of Wales becomes king. Speaking to CNN royal correspondent Max Foster on what would have been his father's 100th birthday, the Earl of Wessex said that over the last couple of weeks, life has got considerably busier, adding the Queen is doing remarkably well. Britain opening up has helped fill any particular void for the royal family in the wake of the Duke of Edinburgh's death, the Earl of Wessex has said. Prince Edward also praised his dad, who died peacefully on April 9 at Windsor Castle. He spoke about his dad traveling the world, and that he was the sort of person that once met, never forgotten. And now on his 100th birthday, the 95-year-old monarch has decided to plant a rose in his honor and quietly reflect on his life. Buckingham Palace announced that last week, the Queen was presented with a Duke of Edinburgh rose, a newly bred pink commemorative rose, in his memory. The Duke of Edinburgh rose was newly bred following Philip's death on April 9 by Harkness Roses, which has been breeding and growing British roses since 1879. It has since been planted at the rose border of the East Terrace Garden at the Queen's Windsor Castle home to the west of London, where she has spent most of her time since the outbreak of the pandemic and where her husband died. The Queen described the Duke of Edinburgh rose which is deep pink, dappled with white lines and double-flowered, as lovely, and the tribute as very kind. The rose is now available to buy from the Society, with a royalty from the sale of each rose going towards the Duke of Edinburgh Award for the Living Legacy Fund, supporting a scheme for young people that the Duke set up, which now operates in more than 130 countries. The monarch will take a quiet moment of reflection today as the royals prepared exhibitions at Windsor and Edinburgh to collectively celebrate the Duke of Edinburgh's extraordinary life. Palace insiders said the royals hope that many people will be able to share in his incredible life and legacy through the exhibits, some of which the Queen personally chose. The Royal Collection Trust, in conjunction with the royals, has pulled together 150 exhibits to commemorate Philip, the nation's longest-serving consort who died aged 99. The Queen will be accompanied by her cousin, the Duke of Kent, who will take Prince Philip's place as her +1 at her birthday parade. This year, the monarch will be joined by her cousin, the Duke of Kent, during the Trooping the Colour on June 12. The monarch, 95, is set to host new U.S. President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden at Windsor this week. Biden arrived in the UK on Wednesday, June 9, 2021 as part of an 8-day overseas trip. The U.S. President and First Lady Jill Biden landed at RAF Mildenhall in Suffolk. Biden is due to hold talks with Johnson on June 10, before the G7 summit begins the following day. The key summit is scheduled to last 3 days with Biden then meeting the Queen on June 13. During his time in the UK, Biden is expected to lay out his plans for a global COVID vaccine strategy to tackle the virus. Biden plans to donate 500 million Pfizer COVID vaccine doses to about 100 countries over the next 2 years, reports indicate. This is the Biden's first overseas trip since taking office and Mr. Biden's first meeting with the Queen as president, although they may have met during his 5 decades in politics, including 8 years as vice president.
Thank you for watching. If you liked, feel free to leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to get new video updates. We will update the latest videos about the royal family every day. Thanks and goodbye.